When I came home, I didn't know what I was going to do, but I knew what I wasn't going to do. And a friend of mine, matter of fact, one of my co-defendants was working at a group home. I love helping kids, and I thought that would be a way I can kill two birds with one stone. Because I had got a job working at BTL Law just to get out the halfway house, you know what I'm saying, to get acclimated because you gotta have a job. But once I did that, I wanted to do something that was a part of my purpose, which was giving back. And I started working at the group home. And then from there, I met a friend of mine that I knew from back in the day. She was working at a Shoe City. She helped me get a job as a marketing manager. So man, we were cell buddies, man.
Oh yeah.
And I always tell the story so crazy, man, because back then I didn't know that there were small pockets of Maryland that even broke them. Not alone federally. And I didn't want any cell buddies. I had a big case. People was trying to tell on me. They had already implemented, or they planted a rat from Frederick into the section, trying to get them to tell on me and things like that, because I wasn't talking. Nobody in my case was telling. They felt like I would tell him some things, And so I asked the COs, man, listen, I don't want no cell buddies, man. For like 3 or 4 months, I had no cell buddies. I used the top bunk as a closet for my clothes and my commissary.
Okay.
And one day the grill breaking, I know it was like that, like, what's going on? Hey man, you got to push my in that store. I said, come on, man, y'all don't do me like that, man. Come on, man. And we walking there with his glasses on, man. No chubby guy, I'm looking at him. I said, man, this nigga man.
Y'all, family, what is going on, man? Listen, we back with another episode. It's the Living Proof Podcast. You already know what time it is. We got the biggest guests in the DMV and around the world, but I got to put my people on. I got to give you a treat today. You know what's going on. We got the biggest. We got the baddest. I don't think y'all really understand. Man, like, a lot of people don't understand it. It's like he behind the scenes, but he also on the mainstream. Like, he really be doing this thing. I call him my big uncle of Baltimore. We got big Stokey in the building.
My guy was good.
What's up, baby? How you feeling?
Man, I'm great, man. Super fantastic, man. Congratulations, man, on this podcast, man. It's a beautiful set, man. I'm super proud of you, man.
Man, I appreciate it, man.
Premium.
Absolutely. You got
Premium,
to.
Man.
How you feeling, man? Like, man. At this stage, man, like, if you look back at your life.
I'm blessed, man. I'm at peace. I tell people all the time, I used to try to be happy about certain situations, and then I developed this sense of peace that supersedes my happiness because it's like everlasting. So I'm in a great space. I mean, I'm healthy. I broke my wrist about 3-4 weeks ago. I mean, about 2 months ago, but now we having that. Other than that, man, I'm super fantastic.
Man, that's love, man. Stoke, man. Take us back. 5-year-old Stoke growing up in the city, man. We gotta really understand, because I think people see you. They saw you on the Breakfast Club. They see you in Rock Nation. They see you moving around, but I don't think they really understand what that grow up was like, man. Take us through that journey real quick.
5 years old, I was in a 2-parent household at that time. My mom had remarried, and my stepdad was a man, not just a male. Worked 9 to 5, sometimes 9 to 11. To make sure everything was complete in the household. My mom, she worked as a manager at a cleaners. You talking about 5 years old, Tonka trucks and G.I. Joes.
Mm-hmm.
So I ain't had no complaints, nothing problematic in my life at that time. And it couldn't have been better. At 5, then you fast forward, then you might have some issues, right? You start putting Vaseline on your boots at 7 to get the shine and stuff like that. So, but life is good right now.
That's good, man. 2-parent household, man, and then growing up. When did it start to shift for you? Like,
well, I mean,
because I don't think a lot of people really understand, like, that they would have probably look at your story and be like, nah, he probably had that single mom that was just.
No, I did. No, I just used it at 5.
Yeah.
I mean, things went from heaven to hell quick. So I mean,
talk to me, Stoke. What happened?
So like, I mean, as I got older, my mom was addicted to drugs. And I think probably at 9 or 10 years old, my stepdad went to prison. They start, being abusive, with drugs, and it caused them to make some real difficult decisions, financially, and my stepdad went to prison in 1980. My mom, she started doing what she could do to make ends meet, with her habit, then she going in and out of drug programs. Me and my bigger sister, we pretty much started raising ourselves. My biological father wasn't in my life, and I was seeing him, in moderation, but it wasn't like we had a relationship. And that was difficult, but I had good grandparents. The community back then would raise you. They would always step in.
Mm-hmm.
But things just took off for me, man, because I remember one time I always tell a story how my biological dad seen me one day on the corner at 10 and gave me some drugs to hold for him. And when he did that, I sat down, being obedient, not realizing what I was doing. I'm just being respectful to my dad. And I think that was the reason why I started selling drugs, because I saw how he benefited from it that particular day. I think he made like 20, 30,000. He gave me $20, man.
Hey, cheap
and a
labor.
handshake, man. You know what I'm saying? But life got difficult. My mom went to prison as well. She came back home. She fought drugs. And I say fought drugs because they was on her back pretty much my adolescent life until her untimely demise. In '99 when she died from HIV. But it was difficult because some of the decisions I was making seemed to be inescapable. You grew up, at that time with one mom who's addicted to drugs, your father ain't there, your stepfather in prison. And it seemed like, you're running from the wolf to the fox, But I was always in education. I played sports as best I could, and as I said before, the community would always step in and do what community did, to help raise people's children, and I was blessed to have a strong community. And I never used drugs because I seen what it did to my family, But I always got in trouble. I think sometimes that childhood trauma really affect you in ways you don't realize, And in school, I'm getting suspended for fighting, but I always was good academically, And I became addicted to selling drugs. So then it became normalized in my community. I became good at it. And then, next thing you know, I'm the man, right? And thinking that there's no consequences, Fast forward 20 years later, I got a federal charge, you know what I'm saying? But, and life will hit you fast, especially if you're off track, But, I didn't have no silver spoon, man, It may have been, plastic with a silver coating, but it wasn't no silver spoon.
Man, you talk about life changing fast. I look at my story and it's like the same type of thing. It's like mom was on drugs. My dad actually went to prison in February '91. I was born July of '91. And I look at it like, dang, I was never that person. I played sports. And then my brother handed me a pack one day. He said, I'm going to a party. Bro, this is, you know how to do math. These are 20s. And then that would get that from that day forward. I said, hold on. Like, if we can make money this easy and grandma lights us off, it don't make no sense why we wouldn't do it. And wasn't thinking about those consequences till at 14 when them jump out boys got me. And I was like, dang, now I'm fighting the case. So, man, how was that, like, seeing your mom on drugs like that? Did that make you just lash out?
It was difficult because it made me ashamed, a woman that gave me life, when back then drugs was more potent. It would affect you physically, as well, as mentally and emotionally, right? And you could see she had abscess on her hands. So if I got suspended from school, I wouldn't want her to take me back. I would hide the suspension letter because I was ashamed of her. And now I would wait the extra 2 days to take myself back, right? So, but it really affected me because that was my everything, And then watching her go through it as I started selling drugs, I wasn't gonna let my mom be sick. So I had to end up helping her with her habit, And it was, I look back, it was a lot of trauma going on in my life that I didn't realize because we normalized it, right? You think about a 10-year-old kid out there surviving, because he don't really have, any ends to meet, right? But, a lot don't make mistakes, man. I think everything I went through molded me into the man I am today, right? I always say God make males. You turn yourself into a man by your experience. And, my mom was my hero, though. She was one of the strongest people I've met in my life. And, to this very day, I live by her mantra, never give up. She died telling me that. I do my best not to use the word try. I don't start nothing without intentions on finishing it, And again, even my dad, he made me a good father because he wasn't one. So I do my best not to replicate what he did, and demonstrate the qualities necessary to raise my kids to be good human beings, regardless of what they choose to do with their life. A nurse, a doctor, a rapper, just be a good person. So my upbringing helped me understand what that looked like because I didn't experience it. So I want to make sure my kids did.
Man, you talking right now because I'm like, dang, my dad wasn't there. It made me be a better father to my two kids. But I'm over. Like you feel like you ever overcompensate?
Man,
Like, it's so tired. Like, I'll be looking at them like, bro, I don't let y'all really go through anything like that.
man, my kids to this very day still call me first.
Mm-hmm.
And I want them to call me last. Don't call me first, call me last. But we got such a good rapport, I wouldn't have no other way. And sometimes I get kind of salty because I want them to understand, God forbid something happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
I want y'all to be prepared to stand alone, And I think they will, but I don't want it to be forced, I want them to normalize independency, right? And they do such a good job, but if something go wrong, I'm the first person they call, you know. And it feels good to have a relationship with my kids, like I said, because I didn't have one with my dad, and having different baby moms, they got along. When I went through my hardship of incarceration, they made sure my kids stayed connected, I couldn't ask for anything better than that, And now today, being a grandfather, being able to really look at life and want more time,
Mm-hmm.
and you never know if you're going to be able to get it. It's 1,440 minutes in a day.
Right.
10,080 minutes in a week. When they're gone, they're gone. You got to find ways to put yourself first and make sure that you use whatever God give you while you can, because people always think they got more time.
Right.
And you don't know when your clock going to stop.
Everybody got the expiration date.
Yes.
But take us back, so boom, Pops give you the pack, 10 years old.
Right.
You like, hold on. I'm seeing it now. I'm seeing my way out. But I ain't even thinking about the consequences.
It's so crazy because, at the time when you become immune to the pain, right?
Mm-hmm.
You realize, you're like, dag, man, if I get locked up, I'm going to jury, right?
Mm-hmm.
And back then, that was like a slap on the wrist. And then when you realize, as you got older, I'm looking at, an empty plate and my stomach growling, I'm going to try to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so crazy, man. I know I wasn't made out to be a thief. Because back then, people were snatching pocketbooks. And I used to try to snatch a pocketbook, could never find an old lady. That's how I know what meant for me to do that. I mean, we go outside, all my friends was doing it, they coming back with credit card. Well, back then they had credit cards, whether it be license and a whole bunch of, it was a few credit cards, JC Penney's and stuff like that, but there wasn't no American Expresses and no pocketbooks. But I tried it several times. I was unsuccessful, man. Then I started selling newspaper, but that wasn't coming fast enough, And I seen my homies, they buying their own tennis shoes, the Adidas, the shell tops, and sweatsuits. And I'm like, man, and whoever you spend the most time with, they had the most effect on you. And I wanted to be like those guys, And I jumped out there and became good at it,
Hold on, how good, Stoke? What was you doing out there, man? I know you was running the
again, I'm
numbers,
tell you, so
man.
back then, right, and it's not fabricating anything. Right?
Absolutely
back then,
not.
you can make $50,000 a day selling drugs. If somebody give you 100 of anything, depending on the value. If it's $10, that's $1,000. They want 700, or they want 6, you get 400. But you can do the math. If you selling thousands of anything a day, you know what I'm saying? You make a lot of money. But we all blew it. We going to the mall buying all the shoes and things that we didn't understand because we come from nothing. But then when I got much older, I started investing my money in property. And I always wanted generational wealth, But again, you become so good, you become a target. Sometimes people back then, it wasn't because you was doing anything. You had to be successful back then almost, unless you just got caught red-handed.
Right.
If they was investigating you, probably was successful. They wasn't investigating losers, nobody who not making money, who just out there in the way. So when the feds came in 97, 96, 97, I don't know anyone who actually beat them. So I kind of felt like I had a chance because I had some information that allowed me to be evasive, right? We had scanners and things like that, but the powers that be said, no, man, you go in prison, man, you know what I'm saying? And we're going to sit you down for 15 years.
What age was that?
I was 28.
28.
Yeah, I was 28.
So you was grinding. You came through high school. You came out the gate for a cut like that. That's late in the game.
I'm talking about, I started, again, if I started at 10, I went to prison at 28, 29. And I did 15 days before. I never did no time.
So you was never thinking about before that, like from 21, 20, no investments. You was just out there.
I did a few times. I wanted to get a gas station with a hair salon, but they was rubber stamps. It wasn't nothing that I could think would create generational wealth.
Right.
I didn't really have the resources available at that time to take me to another level of investments. You know what I'm saying? Whereas, okay, I'm retiring from this stuff. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. You did that really to justify what you were doing illegally. It wasn't like you say, I'm gonna leave this alone and do that. You know what I'm saying? And but I always tell people, man, I was blessed because I used to fight police every day. And nowadays they shoot you for nothing.
For sure.
So I'm like, man, I made it out with my health and my life. Now, of course, I wish I went to prison, but I remember one time I was watching Michael Jordan, and the reason why I say that because I don't have no regrets. Michael Jordan said it best. They said, man, when you won your last championship, your father wasn't there, and they said, man, if you could do anything in your life, would you change something? He said, nah. He said, you wouldn't change, bring your father back? He said, nah, if I bring my father back, I might not have my daughter. I know what it's like to have my father, but I don't want to know what it's like not to have my daughter. So I feel like, I don't have no regrets. Everything happened for a reason. I do my best to learn from my mistakes. Hopefully yours as well, and just be a good person, and I believe in God, I sought atonement and forgiveness for the things I've done wrong, but it's difficult these days, man, because they can legalize you as a sinner for breaking the law, and then they legalize it. You know what I'm saying? Then now you no longer a sinner. Like, back then you go to jail for selling weed. Right now, weed legal.
Right.
So what are you now? No longer a sinner, right?
Yeah.
So to me, the law of God don't change. The law of man does. So I stick with the law of God, and I live my life that way.
Got you. So boom, so you out here making little investments. You really don't got the knowledge really to turn it up or have a chain of gas stations or whatever.
Nah.
They get you at 28. What was the sentence?
15 years.
Gave you 15.
Yeah.
Good God Almighty.
14 and a half, 15 years.
Cool, 15.
And I'm like, back then, wasn't no iPhone, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Nextel, you know what I'm saying? But I was always afraid that I would come home and not recognize cars because in jail, you don't really see things in real time, right? There's a delay. You got to come to the mail or visit to find out what's going on, and then even sometimes with TV, you're in the mountain, they don't really show a lot of things that's going on back in Baltimore, right?
Right.
So, but I made it. I made it out. I put my mind to work when I went to prison. I went to college, studied psychology. I wrote books. I did a lot of stuff in prison, man. And I stayed, faithful. And I always knew one day I was gonna get out. But I knew when I got out, I couldn't come back. Like I wasn't gonna increase the recidivism. I wasn't gonna be one of those guys that in and out of prison, violating parole. But nah, that wasn't gonna be me because I knew better.
Right. That already set you down. So you came home at what age?
I came home at 40.
Came home at 40.
Right.
And then you said, I'm ready to turn it up. So you you connected with some other people. How you start moving around way you start moving around?
I always tell people, man, relationship is the best source of information.
Come on, Stokey.
And when I came home, I didn't know what I was going to do, but I knew what I wasn't going to do. And a friend of mine, matter of fact, one of my co-defendants was working at a group home. I love helping kids, and I thought that would be a way I can kill two birds with one stone. Because I had got a job working at DTL Law just to get out the halfway house, you know what I'm saying, to get acclimated because you got to have a job. But once I did that, I wanted to do something that was a part of my purpose, which was giving back. And I started working in the group home. And then from there, I met a friend of mine that I knew from back in the day. She was working at a Shoe City. She helped me get a job as the marketing manager at Shoe City. I started doing that. And then I just
Hold on, Stoke. The marketing manager?
Yeah, well, she was the market. Okay, when I got there, she was the female buyer.
Okay.
And then the owner, created a department where though she became the director, I became the manager because I had a lot of street resources and relationships. And I created these programs.
So somebody just gave you that chance, like
gave me a job,
I know Stoke solid. I know he gonna work
hard.
Well,
because I had a plethora of ideas that was going to make the company grow and be successful. And they looked at their competitors, which was DTL Law, and how could they associate the brand with the streets? Because that was their number one consumer. And who else but somebody from there? So the guy, he took a risk, you know what I'm saying? He gave me the tools that I needed to succeed. I brought Emory Jones in, and we turned things all the way up to a point where as though we not only increased the reputation of the brand, but we was able to grow in ways where they didn't grow before. Like we was able to get Nike online. They didn't have Nike online, 50 years of the company, you know what I'm saying? Not even that back then there wasn't online, but we was able to do that. It was some milestones with that company, man, and I always appreciate the opportunity. And through there, the young lady's son, he knew a rapper from Pennsylvania who was doing real well. And everybody thought I was in the music already because my son, but I wasn't. Shout out to Skoda. But I met the young man, and I said this little kid can be special, and I believed in him, and I wanted to use my resources and my relationship to get him to the level where I think he could succeed at an all-time high. And we got a call to come to LA, for a meeting. They ended up getting us an artist development deal. We signed with a company called APG in Atlantic. And I made more money with him than I've made in my life. And of course COVID happened and things like that, but I always use my relationships. I have some of the best relationships in the world. And I wouldn't change that for $1 billion.
Who was that artist out of Philly?
No, he was out of Pennsylvania. Waynesboro, a little kid by the name of Lil Skies.
Lil Skies, okay. Yeah. That's crazy. So you talk about Emory Jones, like Jay-Z, Emory Jones.
Right.
How y'all get connected?
So me and Emory was cell buddies, man.
Oh yeah.
And I always tell the story so crazy, man, because back then I didn't know that there were small pockets of Maryland that even broke the law. Not alone federally. And I didn't want any cell buddies because I had a big case. People was trying to tell on me. They had already implemented, or they planted a rat from Frederick into the section, trying to get him to tell on me and things like that, because I wasn't talking. Nobody in my case was telling. They felt like I would tell him some things, And so I asked the COs, man, listen, I don't want no cell buddies, man. For like 3 or 4 months, I ain't had no cell buddies. I used the top bunk as a closet for my clothes and my commissary.
Okay. And
one day the grill breaking, I know it was like that. Like, what's going on? Hey, man, you got to push my in there, Stokey. I said, come on, man. Y'all don't do me like that, man. Come on, man. And me walking there with his glasses on, man, little chubby guy, I'm looking at him like, I said, man, this nigga probably a rat, man. Like, what's up, man? I said, man, hold on for a minute, man. Let me get my stuff down. So he waited for me to move my stuff out the top of the bunk. And out of respect, he didn't want to step on my bed and get up top. So he like, man, I stepped on the toilet. Got up top, and he just was chilling, put his glasses down on top of the sink, you know what I'm saying? Like, where you from, man? He said, I'm not Eastern Shore. I said, yeah, I don't know nobody from Eastern Shore. I remember somebody telling me it was a big case out of Eastern Shore that Jay-Z was supposed to be a part of.
Okay.
And I'm like, yeah, I heard about that case, man. They say something about the guy. Jay-Z wasn't nowhere near as big as he is now. He just was becoming a rapper that everybody talked about, had a good album, project just released. And I was like, I heard about that, man, And he said, yeah, Then later that night, everybody listened to the radio. I heard Jay-Z give Emory Jones a shout out on Teak Session. I said, man, that's you. Like, yeah. And come find out, that was Jay-Z guy. They had Rockaway clothing came out. He got a package of some Rockaway clothing. He didn't want to wear it because, he said, man, I don't want no visit, I don't want nothing. So I wore it. And we created a bond, a brotherhood, a real brotherhood, and we stayed in contact throughout our entire incarceration. His mother now is my mom. His kids are my nieces, my nephews. My kids are his nieces, nephews. We talk at least 3 times a week. I text him, make sure he's good, make sure I'm good. He helped me in so many ways, and he also showed me how important relationships was. And he has a good heart, man. He's a great person, man. A great human being. Outside of you would never know that he been in the rooms he been in by the way he behaved himself. He was raised right. I give credit to Mom for that. Mom Jones raised him right. You know what I'm saying? But he's a good person, man. One of my best friends, man. If I need him, he always did. No matter how busy we are, we always make time to make sure each other is okay, mentally, physically, emotionally, even financially, to make sure we good. And he was able to bridge that gap in my life where I finally met Jay, and they even wanted to help me with Skies. We did a deal with Rock Nation with Skies, and Tata, shout out to Tata and Jay Brown. Them guys really wanted to see me win, man. And they brothers for life, because there's so many people that wanted to be in their grace that wanted to be forced. Mine was natural. I check on them, periodically, the same as me. It's so funny. I always tell people, no matter when I call them or text them, they answer the phone. No matter when I can text Tata and Jay Brown right now, they're going to say, what's up, Stokey? And that feels so good because I know everybody don't have that type of relationships.
For sure. Like, you said something that was key, and a lot of people, when I talk to, and I ain't even that old, but for some reason I be feeling like the old head, like, relationships is worth so much more than money.
Oh, absolutely.
Too many people, they come and they want something They want the money, they want this, and it's like, yo, if you focus on building the relationships, the money gonna come naturally.
It's gonna come natural. Man.
You just gotta work on the relationship, get inside the room, like do some stuff. Like I get my number, like I'm not the person, I get my number out, whatever the case may be, but and I'm very good at building relationships. And like you said, Emery, like you would never know the rooms that I don't brag and share. Like even my producer, he'd be like, bro, you just said, nah, bro, let's build this relationship. How can we add value? Yeah. How can I add value to you? Like whatever I'm doing, the first thing I'm doing is trying to add value to you. And so many people, they get it twisted. Oh, nah, let me figure out how I can get something from the situation.
So you got good energy, man. You young, you got good energy. And I can attribute that to how you was raised, and your experience in life. Because, your best thinking got you in that seat right there.
Facts.
And I tell people all the time, like, you got to want for your brother what you want for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Or want for yourself what you want for your brother. And I feel like a lot of good people in this world, manifest great energy, and, when you around good people, like, I didn't know where I was coming at.
Right.
My faith told me, man, this guy good. I'm not, because I'm humbled that somebody won't even sit down next to me and hear my bootleg story, right? Because there's so many people that fabricate information. You got so much AI out here. You don't know what's real and what's fake.
Right.
Right. But I want to see you win so bad that I done came to Hawaii just to see you and make sure that this show took place because I want you to win, and I pray you pay it forward because I believe that with the energy that you provided me thus far, So, one thing I do know that if you got good relationships, you probably gonna be successful.
Yeah, you definitely gonna be successful. So it's like when you call, just to rewind it back, like, all right, cool. I'm at Shoe City. I done got this position. I called my brother. What made you call Emery? Like, what was?
Well, because I knew that I wanted the company to grow, and I knew he had a bigger reach.
Got you.
So I said, well, if I can create ambassadors in Baltimore, Emery can create ambassadors all over the country. And if we get them to associate with the Shoe City brand, and we mobilize this movement, right? We gonna be successful. And as consultants, we wasn't really just focused just on that. We was really focused on our brand. Emery believe bet on yourself. I believe never give up. Right? And together we formed a partnership that was so lucrative and successful that people start taking notice, And of course, like I say, Emery always called Jay a genie in the bottle. Emery, like a genie in the bottle, But, I don't know too many people who was blessed with the resources and ammunition that Emery have who still continually want to put other people first. Like he could be in Hawaii with the guy who owns Twitter.
Right.
And he'll talk about me and White Lock to somebody who never even heard of it. Because that's the type of person he is. You know what I'm saying? And, so he exemplifies the necessary characteristics of a winner and a decent, good person.
That's good. We need, shout out to you. We need more people like you, man, especially in this day and age. Yeah. Because it's getting spooky out here with the
weird.
real.
It's weird.
It's getting real weird out here. And it's like the higher I go up and the rooms that I start to get in, it's like, bro, I don't even want to be here with y'all. Like, it ain't.
Nah, man.
Like, the likes and the comments on Instagram, like, I really don't be on that. Like, it be so weird and goofy. It's like, I'm not going to do that to my man or do that just for a headline in the story. I can't do me like that.
You see, man, perception now is to some people is more important than reality. You can have 10 million followers on Instagram, but don't have $100,000 in the bank.
That's a fact.
I know a lot of people who really believe that Instagram is the end all be all. And I don't care how much money you make off that, but that perception is not reality. And if it changed you as a person, then you ain't realize who you thought you was. Because 99% of people you don't even know. And they wouldn't come pay your light bill. The other 1% probably will. But I'm on there in moderation, but I don't look at it whereas though I made it because I got people following me on my story. And I always tell people all the time, don't take it personal. I don't really follow people back, not because I'm not interested, but I'm so busy trying to figure this out. I don't know, I had time. I do it, and then if somebody don't like your picture, they get mad or they don't follow you back. Like, you ain't follow you back. Like, yo, I'm not on here for that. Here you go, I'll push it button. Yeah. I mean, I might follow somebody, a nature channel. Because I'm into nature. I love nature, right? But I'm not looking at the girl with the biggest butt. I'm not looking for the guy with all the jewelry. I don't care about that too much. more than I do about the guy who works at Burger King. That's my guy. I'm gonna follow him because I want to make sure I know what he got going on. But I mean, perception now has superseded reality to a point where people really think that he the man. He got blue check. He got millions of followers. Man,
he got
check his
10,000 likes on his
check
pictures.
His credit score and check his account. You know what I'm saying? So
that's some real stuff. People don't get it. It's like them followers don't equal the dollars, bro. Like I know a lot of people who that's out here likes and comments, but they gotta go back to mommy basement. Man, and y'all don't see that.
If you do it the right way, but some people be so caught up in being the next somebody, they forget to be the first them. You know, so I won't be the first me. I don't want to be next nobody.
For real. So you get connected, and then you start you on this business trip at this point. You you know what? I'm locking in on business. When did getting connected with Emery and Skies from PA, that's when your son started rapping?
No, well, my son started rapping in 2014, 15, something like that, 16. Me and Emery was connected, from when I first, 99.
Right.
I didn't know new, but I met Skies in 2016, 17. And we signed a deal, I think, in August or September of 2017.
Okay.
And but my son was rapping before then. And I always wish my son had the same platform the Skies had, man, because he was blessed with a lot of support, from Sony, with a distribution deal, Atlantic, recording deal, so he had the music world at his feet. He had the president, of Atlanta coming to his shows, he had so much excitement, but then sometimes, man, people get lost and they think that stuff gonna last forever, and then they not loyal, and then one thing my values don't change no matter what game I'm in, right? I'm a man, so we can have a conversation, if I'm doing something you don't like versus you sending me a like or not like on Instagram, I'm following you on Instagram, you know what I'm saying? Let's have a conversation, But after the marketing opportunity, I realized my brand was premium. I wanted to be able to make big and better decisions, with the Stokey project. I wanted to do film, music, consulting, management, marketing. And I knew that if I stayed under someone else's umbrella, I couldn't grow as fast or big as I wanted to go, So even with the music, when the music slowed down, I invested my money into hospitality. I opened up restaurants, and things like that, So I started to see, as you get older, you supposed to get wiser, And I always tell people, man, sometimes it's hard to ignore your passion, but you should always connect to your purpose. Now I want my purpose to be, front and center of everything I do in life, But my passion is always, helping people, and bringing out the best of them, But my purpose is helping people. My passion is getting engaged and involved in doing things that may, be fun at the moment, but then you get fatigued and it die down. But my purpose don't never expire. So, I started investing my money into, restaurants and I got a sports bar. And then,
You got a sports bar?
Yeah, I got a sports bar.
What's the name of
it?
Silks
Sports Bar.
Okay.
Towson. My friend who passed away in 2020, I named it after him. I want his legacy be, forever. He was one of those online comedian guys, man. Everybody loved him. I'm actually doing a movie on him right now, too, but he was my guy, and I wanted to make sure that, if nothing else, his name would never be forgotten. So I named the sports bar after him. Was blessed with the opportunity to get, in the McDonald's business, you know what I'm saying? I have a beautiful partner who, one of the smartest females I've ever met in my life, I always tell her she was raised off love and I was raised off survival. But we come together, we can be a powerful force because, you can cover all ends, So I'm doing that, but my passion is filming, producing and creating things. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm working on 2 projects in Baltimore.
Okay.
One on my friend Silk, Comedy, one on a drama, a Squeezy Kid,
Okay.
So, my relationships did help me, but also, me investing into myself as well helped catapult me to certain, levels of life and opportunities.
That's what's up, man. I love it, man. take it back real quick because I think we missed over. Like, what was you thinking when you started seeing your son rapping? Like,
I didn't believe it. I thought that, because like, he was corny to me trying to be a rapper. Like you rapping, what you rapping about? And it wasn't until one of my friends who actually did this video, like, yo, you need to check him out. He good, Stoke. His mother is his #1 fan. She used to always tell me he rap and he can do it, but I never, well, man, you ain't no rapper.
right.
And then one day he got a little song that came out, and then I heard on the radio, and I'm like, proud dad moment, right?
Hold on. So he did it. He ain't leveraged dad. He did it all by himself.
He didn't. This guy, man. I had to force myself on him because he's so independent, and he's still that way to this very day. He only call me if he need me, right? But one thing I say about him, forget rapping, he's a good person, man.
That's what's up.
And I always say that's my friend because he a good person. He don't hate on nobody. It's guys I don't like, he still like. Because he's not going to be the type of person let nobody make a decision for him, right? Unless it's something that's real detrimental, you know what I'm saying? He ain't do that. But if I just like somebody for something or have a fallout, but when I heard him rapping, I was like, man, this kid might be on to something. So I started trying to be his invisible manager, meaning that not on paper, somebody who can help him logistically make the decisions he need to make so he won't get robbed, and get him a business attorney and things he needed that he wasn't aware of, and then watch him flourish. But he became great, man. And I mean, today he's my favorite rapper by far because I can relate to him, him and Jay-Z right there. But, if I got to choose, I'm take my son, man. Of course. But, I ain't say who better. I said my favorite. Right. You know what I'm saying? So, but he's a good, great person, man. He works hard, and, every opportunity I get to be there for him, I do it.
That's what's up, man. I think his story need to be told too. I'm gonna have to get schooled up on here, man.
Yeah, man.
Because I don't think people really understand the person. They just see the raps and the shine and but like really knowing that person is like that's what really opened up doors for a lot of people. Like that's why like some people may look or hear your story and read like, man, Stokey, he might not be that person, but like once they get to know you, it's like, bro, it's all love. It's genuine.
It's so crazy. I don't think it should have been this hard for Skolder, man. I think Skolder had enough hits to really, sometimes we get in our own way. He got incarcerated a few times that really derailed that. Meek Mills tried to help him, then Meek got locked up, But we never wanted to force anything, And he's not the type of kid gonna be begging for a hand up. You know what I'm saying? That's not him. And sometimes, man, things just don't happen, economically or make sense for you to turn yourself into a puppet for a deal. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you feel like the money that they were offering, we already had it. But he never had a platform or machine behind him to push him the way some guys did. And, like I said, he got a good relationship with probably all the rappers out. But everybody think he made it because of the way he carried himself. You know what I'm saying? Or the way he looked, perception again.
So what made you say, like, you doing all this stuff? You got the restaurants here. You done came out. You got the relationships. What's Baltimore mean to you? What made you want to stay?
Really, I didn't stay. I left in 2023 when I was in a relationship, and I bought a house in Georgia. And, things didn't work out, but I still kept my house. And I was undecided because I want my kids to have a place to call home, But I ain't need no mansion. I don't need no 7-bedroom house, no pool. I don't now. I would love it. But so I wanted my kids to still understand, help me make the decision, because if y'all don't want the house, we can sell and get something else. So I moved to Georgia. But then once these business started taking off, I come back to Baltimore. And I never really stayed in Georgia as much as I wanted to, because of an obligation in Baltimore. But I love Baltimore. Baltimore has always supported me, man. My city has given me everything I can ask for and more. Everywhere I go is always love and respect. Again, you're gonna have haters.
For sure.
That's like almost like saying, you're gonna have hot water. You're gonna have cold water and hot water. You're gonna have, but I take it with a grain of salt because as long as they don't play with me or disrespect me, I'm okay with that, right? But for the most part, man, my city has always supported me and given me the love, that I need to believe in myself and try to create opportunities for other people without it being like derailed or interfered with, I mean, even when it comes to police, I hate police. I used to run against some people. You know what I'm saying? Now, I had commission with several police commissioners on speed dial for doing community initiatives. All the mayors on speed dial. Even when I ran for mayor, it wasn't because I wanted to be a mayor. I wanted to show people what change look like. In order to be it, you got to see it, right? So, and I wanted my city to stop killing each other. I wanted to decrease the homicide rate. It's funny, today, I told you before I came here, I just went and volunteered for violence prevention because I want to be able to help the kids who've been a part of gun violence to understand retribution is not the way, getting all the service and resources they need to get their life back together, So I'm always going to be a child of Baltimore. No matter where I go in life, man, my city going to always come first.
That's crazy. Who hyped you up to run for mayor, man? What was that? She was like, listen, this is what I'm going to do. Or somebody said, hey, Stoke, man.
You know what's so crazy,
everything
man?
you're doing, you should run for this.
You know what's so crazy? My son. He's 6 years old. He was 6.
Okay.
And he was going to Roland Park Elementary, one of the best elementary schools in Baltimore. I was coming from traffic court with a friend of mine. And I said, let me stop by my son's school, check on him. I'm in neighborhood. So I check on him. He on timeout by himself. Everybody outside playing. He in the classroom. And smart kid, but always got in trouble. So I said, man, what you do today? He's like, oh, no, they said I was talking. I can't do that. I said, listen, man. If you keep getting in trouble, man, I'm heavy in the music. I already decided to move to L.A. Jay Brown said, come out here, Stokey. We're going to give you an office in Rock Nation. Find a place. We got you. Start looking for a place. I'm going to L.A. So my son in the classroom, I'm like, yo, what you doing, man? Like, I don't know, Dad. I said, man, I'm telling you, you keep getting in trouble. You're not going to be able to go to L.A. with me. He said, Dad, why are you going to L.A. anyway? Before I could answer, he said, is it because of the murders? He's 6. And I'm like, wow, my son traumatized by the things that he see me exposed to because of the city. So I called him and like, yo, I got to do something, man, for the city, man. I can't keep letting them. He said, man, Stoke, man, might be bigger than us, man, but we ain't going to give up. We're going to keep on trying to find a way. Because when the riots happened, Jay called me like, Stoke, whatever you need me to do, I'm going to do it. You know what I'm saying? And we got on the train soon the fire hit the ground. Next day, history will tell you somebody else did it, but I'm telling you right now, if you find somebody who can tell you that they stopped the riots, I would give you $1 million cash. And we came down, we got everybody on that playground, man. We said we're not going to tear our city up no more, y'all. Let's talk. I'm talking about the epic center of everywhere everything was going at. That was only God, because I didn't know what I was doing. I wasn't no activist at the time. I wasn't no. And we got there and told everybody to chill. So you fast forward 4 years, the city been on a murder spree ever since. 300 murders every year. Right? So during the year 2019, when I'm talking to Emory, I said, man, I think I'm going to run for mayor, man, just to show everybody what's changed. Like, he said, man, I'm going to support you no matter what you want to do. He said, but they're going to put you in a box. You can't do the things you want to do in that box. And Jay, they said, we'll do whatever we can do. They made the call for the Breakfast Club, not me. They did those things. You know what I'm saying? Right. I always appreciate that. But I only did that because I felt like during that time with Black Lives Matter campaign and George Floyd's and all the world, I felt like that was a time for sure everybody would, change look like and get these young folk involved in the voting process so we can make a difference. Because you can't complain, if you don't put forth the effort, to a solution, So it was really my son that motivated me to do that. And I had the support of my family, my friends, and it was a wonderful experience. I wouldn't change that in the world. I'm just glad I didn't win. I lost a lot of money too because again, during that time, man, we doing 3 and 4 shows a week. I'm getting 20-30% of what this artist making. We getting $75,000 a show. You do the math. But it wasn't about money for me. I wanted to save my city.
Right.
So if I take 3-4 months off, I'm thinking I'd be good. But I told everybody I was running for mayor in June of that year, and the election wasn't until the following June. So I almost took a whole year off. I couldn't joke on social media with my friends and do the things I was doing. So, but I wouldn't change nothing in the world. And there's so many people who thought I was trying to be mad. They went over their head. he ain't gonna win. No, the race I'm running, I won.
Mm.
I won the race I was running. I wasn't trying to get a job. I was trying to show people what change look like.
Mm-hmm.
And I used that platform to do it. Now there's guys out there who know they can do anything they want to do. Not just be mayor. They can be a electrician, a plumber. Just don't give up on yourself, especially if you know my story.
Yeah.
So I want to forecast my story so everybody can say, you know what, that man been through it, lost his mind, went to prison.
Mm-hmm.
Now he doing this. I can do that.
That's a fact. You living proof. For real.
In real life, right?
In real life, Stoke. So, man, Stoke, you done been through it, man. What's Big Stokey project, man? That's what it's about. What's that look like, man? How can somebody work with you, tap, man? What you looking for to build?
I'm on social media, the Stokey project. Kind of phony on Facebook, Stokey Cannady, but people reach out to me all the time, man. Same way you did, you know what I'm saying? And I always answer. People think, man, I don't think he's going to answer. I said, why not? Why would y'all think I'm going to answer my DM? If it's my page, I'm going to answer. I'm not who y'all think I am.
Mm-hmm.
I'm who I'm supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm looking to work with anybody that want to grow. Right now, I'm in the prime of creating this wonderful project, a TV series called The Squeezy Boy. Any writers, producers, directors, videographers, tap in, man, let's work because it's ongoing. I'm also doing a film, another series with my friend Silk, Silk on the Run. And that's why, I no disrespect to 50 because I think 50 did a fabulous job. But I say 50 can't write better than me because my experiences supersede his imagination almost to a point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He got to use his imagination or use someone else. I can write about things I've seen and witnessed that I know for a fact is beyond fabrication.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's guys that I would love to work with, not work for, and I think that if someone taps to me, because experience speaks opinion. If they got more experience than me, like that beautiful guy over there, like I want to work with them people. You know what I'm saying? I want to build and I want to pay it forward.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, go back to relationships. Maybe not for me, but maybe for you. You know what I'm saying? So,
right.
Stokey Project, man, is a full-fledged entertainment company, man. We do marketing, we do management, we do consulting, we do give back, philanthropy, And the guy who told me the name of this Stokey Project, he said, man, because your brand should be something you be proud of. And when you hear it, you know it's you. And he said, man, so stop giving everybody else credit and just give yourself some credit. So if I touch it, it's a Stokey project. Not singular though, you know what I'm saying?
Got you. What expectation do you have for these films? Like,
man,
I know you shooting it, but I know you got an expectation. Like,
I honestly want people to be entertained. Silk, okay. I don't want Silk to die. So doing his project keeps him alive.
Yeah.
But I want to tell a story about the Squeezy kid. Because there has been a pandemic in my city for so long, and people always talk about these kids and don't talk to them. It's a reason why they out there. To some, it's a form of survival.
Yeah.
To some, it's a form of entitlement. And I always tell people about the young man in Baltimore. I always tell people, this is my favorite parable, the lion. Because in the zoo, a lion is an exhibit. In the circus, a lion is an actor. But in Africa, a lion is a hunter. And no matter who you are, if he see you, you bait.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't get mad at him because ain't nobody giving him nothing.
Right.
If you put him in the same situation you put the previous two, then he don't got to hunt. But until then, he got to hunt.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how these young kids feel. Ain't nobody giving them nothing. They got to hunt or they won't eat.
Mm-hmm.
And it becomes territorial. That's why they kill you over that block. Because in their mind, you taking something from them, right? Which really is not. And once we change socioeconomics and come up with better ways to educate our kids and give them opportunities to succeed, on higher levels, you're going to see less crime and violence. But that's an investment. It's not going to happen overnight. People been killing each other since the Cowboys and Indians. It's just that we got to start loving each other a little more, a lot more, and respect each other and not do the work of the devil because we feel like get rid of you going to help me. Nah, I'm at somebody, you have to answer that one day. Might not be the day, you got to answer that. And that's where I'm at. So I just want to be able to grow, man, and develop relationships that are premium, respectful, and successful. And hopefully, man, we can perpetuate that to a level where everybody wins.
That's dope, man. Dope. Before we get out of here, I think a lot of people or they have this perception of you that's not real.
Right.
What you want to tell people that you never told anybody? Because I don't think they understand. You
Nah, man,
cooler than the other side of the pillow, man.
I'm right. I'm right humble, man. I'm really, I love the joke. Scared of heights. I tell people all the time, I'm scared of heights. I fly all the time, man. I don't like blood. I don't like being cold. I don't like being broke. I love my children. I love my community, man. I love nature, man. I love traveling. I love giving back. I'm a Muslim. I love God. Man. I do the best I can do. To be a good person. I might not achieve everything in life that I wanted to, but that don't mean I'm a bad person.
Mm-hmm.
And again, perception is opinion. People gonna have that. I just want to be remembered as someone who cared about people, and I pull my sleeves up and go out and help the homeless, the people that's hungry, people that's addicted to drugs, try to find them treatment, whatever I could do because that makes me happy.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, like what people may seem to believe because like a lot of people think, like my friend told me that, like I said, you argue. I know you got a nice car. So when I said, man, I ain't want a car in 5 years. I don't want no car. I'm tired of cars. Like I want me an old car. I don't want to be recognized. That's where I'm at in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I had the Lamborghinis, the Rolls Royces. I got all that. I did that, right? But I'm saying now I want to be able to have a pickup truck, man, where as though, I don't get no speeding tickets, right?
Right.
But and just be happy, but more importantly, be at peace. And that's what I'm investing in, my peace. And I don't care who you is. You can be my son or my daughter. I'm not letting you disrupt my peace.
Mm-hmm.
Because once you do that, you own me. And those triggers or buttons that you push allow you to take me places where I want to go. So I try to defend and protect it at all costs. Just be at peace, man. Like I say, and be healthy and happy. I work out in moderation. I broke my wrist, so now that's on hold, but I play basketball when I can. Have a great camaraderie with some great guys. We play ball 3-4 times a week.
Mm-hmm.
We in our group chat talking about life and having fun. It's an amazing time, but right now I just want to work on my projects, man. So if anybody out there, your fans, constituents, whoever want to make some movies or some short films, man, tap in, man. The Stokey Project, man.
That's what's up, man.
Let's do it.
Before we get out of here, I really got to ask you a question because I'm sure it's always been a working project. What do you think that God is still working on in you?
With me having strong faith, I can answer that, but I don't think God never gonna be finished with me.
Mm.
You said working on, so I think God probably working on my patience and increase my faith. Right now it's the month of Ramadan. I haven't broke my fast not one time. 5 days a week I'm praying, believing in Him and all that He has given me and done for me. I always tell people God don't play with me or play about me, so I'm okay with that. But I think God wants me to be the best version of myself. And I think by Him allowing me second chances and giving me the instruments and the ingredients to perpetuate a positive narrative for my family, my friends, and my community, I couldn't ask for more. Because I think He used me to show people what not to do and also what you can do or what you can become. So I'm excited for what's ahead, man. I just had a birthday last month, man. I told my kids I'm not going to retire until y'all beat me in something. And I'm still we still play video games together, man. Like, so, I don't read as much as I want to read now because, got auto books, you know what I'm saying, man? But I went back to college, man, for business management because I want to open up my own. I wanted to start my own company, our company, you know what I'm saying? So, but I'm just still doing the best I can do to evolve, man, to be the best version of myself.
I love it, man. Listen, man, we got Big Stoke in the building, man. Let them know where they can tap in because I'm sure some people that's been waiting, like, man, he got the connection, he got the resources, I got the story. I'm a writer, producer. I want to connect, man. Let them know where they can find you
so
at.
I'm on the Stokey I'm on Instagram at the Stokey Project. That's Stokey Project Project. And just DM me, man, send me a message, and be patient with the response because I'm gonna do my best to respond to everybody I can. And if it's meant to be, it's gonna happen, man. You know what I'm saying? If I can't make it happen, hopefully I can put you in contact with somebody who can. And that goes for sometimes people just need a mentor. I always tell people I take our time to tell people not to do because I did it, right? Or what to do because I couldn't. But they can find me on there. I'm not really on Twitter and Facebook as much, but I really use Instagram as a tool and device to help me manage my relationships and resources with people I don't really see every day.
Absolutely.
I will get my number out, man, but I got a minute phone, you know what I'm saying? So I can't afford to get that cut off.
I wouldn't do that, man. Listen, I'm telling y'all, we big Unc in the building today, man. Somebody I always looked up to, man. So listen, I'm telling you right now, we bringing the biggest living proof people, man. Go follow Stoke. Go watch his story. Go tap in with him, man. Listen, collaboration is always at the top. Competition is at the bottom. I'm telling you right now, man. Y'all watch another episode, man. I'm out. Let's get it.